Welcome to the Grind and Growth Podcast. This is episode 9. I'm your host, Mush Millions.
I'm your girl, Mira. And we have here...
And we have a special guest. We don't want him to introduce himself because he's just that badass. We gotta wait till the music stop to introduce him properly. Even though y'all can see him, but he's from Iowa.
Yes, sir.
Born and raised.
Iowa.
Born and raised. He writes his own music. He picks his own beats. He picks the people that mix and master his songs himself. Give it up for Draft Pick.
What it do, man? What it do? I appreciate you having me on, Mush.
Draft Pick in the building, y'all.
We got Draft Pick from
For
Iowa.
all y'all that been tapped into, the podcast lately, what we've been doing, y'all know he's been one of the most consistent artists that's been sending the
music,
fire.
yeah.
Everything he's been sending has been fire, and I
Appreciate
think
it.
half of that fire that he's been sending is on this project.
Yes, sir. The
Is on
Prestige.
the Prestige. We are 2 days away from this epic project. I don't know if y'all can see that back there. But he came with posters. He came with a full package. It's wrapped in plastic. Artists.
Clean.
Yes.
Artists, get back to doing this. This makes your music valuable.
Absolutely. Take it back, man. Take it back to the
back.
days.
Take it back. Can we please take
love
it back?
this.
Can we please take it back? This is awesome. Welcome, brother.
Man, I appreciate it.
Welcome,
I appreciate
man.
it.
Welcome.
Trying to make millions with millions.
Hey, we gonna do it.
Yes, sir.
Doing stuff like this, we gonna do it for sure.
Absolutely, man.
For
Absolutely,
sure,
man.
100%. Where did you grow up? This is the house that he grew up
Yeah,
in.
that's the
He grew
house.
up
He
in.
represented it all the way to the fullest. Iowa.
First 16 years of my life, West
He's so
2nd
Iowa.
Street, Davenport, Iowa, man. Born and raised.
Davenport,
Love it.
Iowa.
Yes, sir.
Hey, W Iowa, because some of the best shows that I have done, Zach, you've been the witness.
Oh, it's Iowa.
You've been there with me. Like, it's on my YouTube page. You can go. The biggest shows that I have done in my life has been in Iowa, bro. Like, seriously. Am I lying, Zach?
Iowa definitely turns up, man. They know how to party.
Y'all know how to turn up. Y'all know how to party. Yeah, W Iowa for sure. Let's give them the
Absolutely.
horse.
Iowa.
Y'all know how to support like no other city knows how to support.
Absolutely.
I've been to many cities and did many shows. Every time I came to Iowa, even though it's a small town, it felt like home, even though I wasn't from there.
Absolutely, man.
Like,
A lot
I love that
of
feeling.
people from the Midwest and Iowa, got Caitlin Clark is not a phenomenon like her humbleness. It really is like Smallville, Superman, humble. You have the country, but you have the small town, the city vibes where people care about each other and people support each other. So shout out to Iowa,
love
Black
that.
and Yellow all
Shout out to Iowa
day.
again.
Shout out to Iowa.
And it's breeding
Yes, sir.
superstars because you, to me, are a superstar.
I appreciate that.
And
Mush.
and you mentioned Caden Clark, a superstar, bro. Like
Absolutely. Shout out to her.
like seriously, like. So what started you into what prepped you into like what sparked that thing in you to make you want to do music?
Man, I
That's
mean,
what I wanna
there's
know.
a lot of things that made that happen. It's like a gumbo of a lot of things.
Okay, we
growing
got
up.
time. I don't know if you
Yeah.
got time. We got time. Let's
We
start
got
with
all
the
time.
first thing. Like, what was the first thing that made you like, oh, I think I love hip hop?
Man, I grew up, man. I think the first rap CD I ever owned was Criss Cross. I had
Yes,
Criss
sir.
Cross, wear my
Yes,
clothes
sir.
backwards, warm it up, Chris. That
Yeah.
was like 91, 92, and that really I was like, okay. And then I was more on the R&B tip because I loved High Five. Kissing Game is my favorite song of all time, and so I'm really an R&B. I love R&B.
Yeah, me too.
But Criss Cross really opened that door, and LL Cool J.
Put you in that vibe.
And
Oh,
then,
yeah.
Chicago being the big city, obviously the Twista, Do or Die, Crucial Conflicts, and you can hear those influences in my
In your
music.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I told my wife when we first heard you, I thought you
Wait,
was from here.
so that's where you were like, let me reach out, let me get them on one of my songs? Because we were like,
No.
he's from...
No, will you jump in ahead because those are questions that I want to dig into.
I know, 'cause I wanna know.
But those was so Twister and all of them being back in the '90s. That was your influences.
Oh, absolutely.
Like,
Pope. Like I remember going to the store because back in the day, and that's why I
store,
love.
bro, I
You
bought
go to
the
the store to
cassette.
buy the CDs, right?
Yeah.
The cassettes, the CDs, when they were like $18.99, and I remember buying the Do or Die album. and just hearing that with the sound of Legendary Trackster bringing that sound to the mainstream, because nobody heard that type of sound in the mainstream with the Poe Pimp.
And it's totally
and it was, 6 million ways, and that really was like, yo, this is incredible. And I was a fan after that forever.
That's dope. That's
so
dope.
look at him.
That's dope.
So wait, you grew up in Iowa, correct?
Yeah, I grew up in Davenport, Iowa, which is about 3 hours from Chicago. So
you kind of had a feel for Chicago.
Oh, absolutely.
Which is about 6 hours for Chicago people, because we drive slow as hell.
We
be scared.
A lot of great music. And so, and you can hear those influences in my music. And, like LL Cool J is probably the grandfather of bringing in that sound with the R&B, the rap, the pop, the radio, with the culture, with the look, with the clothes.
Yes.
So LL Cool J to me was the blueprint of that, and a lot of people did their own swag and their own style with that, and you can hear LL in a Twista, in a Ja Rule, a 50 Cent, and a draft pick. So absolutely. Shout out to LL.
Shout out to LL.
Shout out to LL.
Give him the air horns. So growing up in Iowa, how do you feel like that shaped you as an artist?
I think what had happened was, like you said, we got the Chicago influence, and in the late 90s, you had St. Louis with Nelly.
Oh, yeah.
Obviously Detroit's a little up there, but Detroit's still Midwest, and that's, you got Eminem, the Royce 5'9s, Tech Nine down in Kansas City, obviously Bone Thugs and Harmony in Cleveland. Oh, yeah. So all them sounds
in
our
literally Iowa, Cleveland, Chicago,
Tech Nine,
St. Louis.
I didn't even think
about it. Those are all the people that actually sparked me to even rap.
Same here.
For real.
Same here.
That means we the shit, y'all.
Yeah, Midwest. Stand up for the Midwest, man. Absolutely.
W Midwest, man. W Midwest. And I say this is what makes people...
Bring me this.
If I'm streaming listen, streaming is great.
Yeah.
I'm not dissing streaming at all.
The visual though.
If I'm streaming your album, I don't see none of this. I don't see the credits and all of this stuff when I'm listening to your music. If I can listen to your music and look at something like this while I'm listening to it,
perfect,
and still get a clear vision of who you are and everything, and who's all on this album and what to expect next, this would make me buy into it.
Because you don't see this anymore.
You don't.
Yeah. You don't.
But this needs to come back. Can we please bring this back?
Absolutely.
For real. Like, this is something you show people.
Look, that's fire. We appreciate it. So, okay, I want to dive into some more questions real quick before we get into number 2.
Absolutely.
Because this album is phenomenal.
Thank you.
Thank you for gracing me with it first, so I can, what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
So now I have questions after listening to the full body of work. You send songs over, through the, but listening to the full body of work, I have a idea.
Now we see a person to the face.
It gives me an idea
live.
of who you really are.
I appreciate it.
It makes me feel like I've known you for years.
And that's what I was trying to do. Like, when I was working on this album, I worked on this album, by the way, for 5 years.
Really?
And, having a family of 9 children, and we're going to get into that, and working 70 hours a week as a truck driver. It took me time to put this album together. And there'll be sometimes that weeks go by that the studio, I don't turn it on because I don't have the time. There's not enough time. There's not enough me to go around. And so I took my time with the album. I didn't rush it because I didn't have any pressure. Nobody saw me coming. They never saw me coming. So I felt like I had that angle, and that was actually a strength of mine to do that. And so and it was crazy is I had it always in my head, and I just wanted to manifest, and I kept praying to God, and I'm like, man, listen, I believe I'm an image of God.
You are?
And so I was like, I can do all great things, and I manifested, and we finally were able to put it together, and here we are, man, the Prestige.
Hey, I love what you. I know. You just gave me chills, but I had to hit that button a little bit.
Appreciate it, man.
You gave me almost emotional because it's like you think about your kids, your family.
And then it takes me back to a question. This is just an off the wall question. Like, how did you find that inspiration doing all of these things and juggling 9 kids and juggling your job? And how do you find that inspiration to turn on the computer to even do anything like that?
I'm going to be honest. I'm going to be frank. I was signed to a label back in the day. In 2006, I put out a studio album called Feel Good Music. Obviously, it flopped. It didn't do anything. And so once I got out of the contract with the label, life found its way. I got married, I had kids, I got a divorce, I kind of hit rock bottom, and that adversity builds character. And so when you 100%. Hit rock bottom and everything, and you take all the L's and you're still alive, God is like, okay, when you're done having a pity party, how about you get your ass up and let's make it move. And so once I got to that headspace and I found my worth, and the album is called The Prestige because it's the greatest version of me.
Of yourself.
And throughout the whole album, Mush, I'm hitting the beats, I'm hitting the drum of self-worth and believing in yourself. When
and
nobody,
I heard that through the whole project.
Yeah, when nobody, nobody in the room, the building, the city, the town, the state believes in you. But as long as you believe in yourself and you believe in God, then you can do all great things.
Damn, that's beautiful.
God.
Yeah, I like that.
Don't make me tear up.
I know.
Come on, man.
Because when you believe in yourself, it's like you don't ever hear anybody like they'd be like, "Oh, I put out this album, da da da," but you don't really hear like how people truly feel. Like you put it out for yourself. It wasn't for nobody. It was just truly for yourself.
Yeah,
and you have kids.
Exactly.
Some people struggle having kids, and it's a lot trying to get in the studio, but you did it for yourself.
Put it out for yourself. Life situations to take care of.
Yes.
You know what it's like.
And it's I don't know what it's like because I'm looking to him for. Like he's the saving grace because it's hard for me sometimes. Sometimes I fall in this funk to where I can't create. I'm just not creative because I'm thinking about life. I'm thinking about so much stuff that's happening around me.
A lot of control on you.
Real life takes away from sometimes this studio hasn't heard me speak on it since 3 months ago.
Yeah. No.
For instance, today, we had to go to an awake.
Yeah.
Then it's like, how long does it take him to process and go into a
and to be able to create? That's what I'm trying to understand. Like, not trying to understand, but I just I want some inspiration from you how do you push yourself to say, suck it up?
Man, honestly, it like I said, adversity builds character, and anytime that I've ever grown as an individual, it's been being comfortable, being uncomfortable, and that's how I've grown.
That speaks volumes.
I'm happy in my life where I'm at. I got a wife that loves me, that holds me down.
And I was just going to ask, how's the wife? Like, how does she feel about the music?
She's my best friend. She rocks with me. She will tell me straight up, like, get your ass back in there and rewrite that. You could do better. And my children, when I'm in the studio creating and they're down there, it gives me inspiration because, they'll look in and like a kid in the candy store. And
like,
you never know.
You
never know where it goes. You know what I'm saying? Like if this music thing pops, I mean that's great. I definitely ain't gonna shy away from that. But if I become Joe Jackson, I got 6 boys, I got
For
3
real.
daughters, man. If I can put the seed in them, and they can be great, then that's what it's about.
Then then you still succeeded in what you were trying to do.
Because you see your kids like
100%.
looking at you like, oh damn, look at that. Do they like rap too?
Yeah, some of them do. Some of them want to sing. I got a daughter in dance. And so I'm always like, hey, man, I always do little competitions. Like whoever can write the best song out of you guys, that'll record it, and I get it mixed down and master, and you be the coolest kid in school.
You definitely look Joe Jackson.
Wait, that's what I was going to ask you.
That's
so,
awesome, though.
You mix and master your own songs?
No. I mean, I do a pre-mix, but I got a guy, shout out to my guy YB in Toronto, who does my mixing. So, and he's phenomenal, man. And he's just like me, man. He works. He has a family.
Shout out him because
for real.
There's a lot of talented people out there.
Sounding fire.
Absolutely, man. And
everything that I have ever heard from you, including this,
is all
has
fire.
been top-notch quality.
That's why I was like, wait, where is he from? Iowa?
That's what I look for. We all thought he was from Chicago.
Iowa, you don't really, it's not like a common state that you would hear somebody rap from that you're like, oh, okay.
What was the last rapper that came from Iowa?
Well,
but you don't really hear...
David Blunt is from Davenport, Iowa.
Really?
Yeah, he's actually from Davenport, Iowa. Dave Blunt.
Shut the fuck up.
Yeah. Shout out to Dave Blunt. He's from Davenport,
shut
Iowa.
up. Shit.
Yeah, man.
I did not know that.
There's a lot of creative people.
But you don't hear
I was
that
today
like
years
as much
old
as
when I just learned
Chicago,
that.
New York, you know what I mean? You don't hear that as much as like Chicago.
Man.
It's like Chicago, the rapper, this rapper, but you don't hear Iowa like that so frequently.
And you don't hear the outskirts like Wisconsin or Milwaukee or
because it's like the outskirts, so you just say Midwest.
Yeah.
So you don't really hear from where they're really from.
When outsiders hear the Midwest, they think you're either from Chicago. St. Louis, or
not Iowa,
or Michigan.
But
you're from Michigan.
Now you just put it on the charts. Like you're in your music. Always when it came on our thing, everybody was like, damn.
Everybody was like, "Oh, fire!" Oh,
we thought you were from Chicago.
That's why I had to keep saying, "I'm from Iowa."
Right.
And like Twister was in there, Do or Die, and I'm like, Where
and
is
these
he
records,
from?
I'm like, man, he got songs with Reese. He got songs with. Let's not spoil the
Yeah,
album.
I
know.
Let's get into number 2 right now because I got so much stuff to talk to you about. You gave me Jay-Z vibes when you was like
appreciate that.
You was like on some God flow. You know what I'm saying? Like the way you it just seemed like you were just maneuvering through the beat just effortlessly. What were you thinking when you made this track?
Man, when I heard that record, man, I sat on that record. A lot of the records that I sit on, because I drive up to Chicago and back every night. So for 6 hours, I don't talk to nobody. I don't listen to podcasts.
Oh,
so all I do is
truck
play.
Drive, right?
Yeah, I truck drive. So all I do is play the beat over and over and over. And I think about moments in my life where I fell down, where I took a L. And so when I heard that beat and I was forming and I was writing that song, I wanted it to be grand. I wanted the first record, The Prestige, to be like, hey, this is for real. I'm being a professional, but this is me on my shit. This is the second record to let you know that I ain't fucking around.
Hey, and I felt every bit of that in that. That felt like the first record was amazing. The second record was like,
boom,
bitch, the band is here. What's happening?
Absolutely.
That felt like the second. It felt like you had 2 intros.
So wait, when you truck drive, do you just play beats?
I'll play I'll go Bluetooth on my phone and just play the beat over and over. And sometimes I'll freestyle. Sometimes I'll make 8 songs off one record and then I'll take from here and I'll be like, okay. So when I get to the studio, and I turn it on, I'm like, all right, I already kind of have a concept of what I'm doing. So I'm not making the record up right on the spot.
Right off on the spot. You already have an idea.
Because I have the luxury of 6 hours. I ain't talking to nobody. I'm just vibing out to the music and I'm creating.
That's crazy.
Damn.
So when you actually get
home, hey,
for real.
Genius to the fullest capacity.
For real.
So here's my thing, because I'm learning from you as I'm listening.
Appreciate it, Mush.
You know what I'm saying? And I'm very inspired by you, bro. Like 100%. Like I wouldn't even ask you to come over here or even be, promoting your music and stuff like that if I wasn't inspired. Like I get a lot of inspiration from you. So I want to know, like, the process of recording for you. Do you go in there and just freestyle? Do you go bar for bar? Do you do it like Lil Wayne? Do you write it down and then just go in there and spit it all? Or how do you do it?
A lot of times, man, what I'll do is I'll try to find a concept first of the hook, and then what I try to do is then I try to find the cadence. And I'll go I'll go 4 bars. I'll go 4 bars, and sometimes I don't like to force anything. So if it's not flowing, I'll just shut it off, and we'll run it back.
Run it back later.
Right. Okay.
So that's how I run with that, and so that's kind of how I record. And then when I also record, I like to do my chingy. I call them chingy ad libs and Ti ad libs.
What's the difference? Break down the difference.
Well, the chingy ad libs, I'll be like, I'm trying to take it back. And the Ti ad libs is I'm like, I'm trying to take it back, man.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So I layer it. Yeah. So I call it the Chingy and the Ti ad libs, and when I put a record together, man, every record that I try to do, I'm trying to tell a movie. I'm trying to make it's like a movie.
And that record right there felt like a movie.
I appreciate that.
So wait, so when you feel like I'm not feeling it, you just walk out of the studio, you're like, nah, it's not today.
I plenty of times, like I said, I've worked on this album for 5 years. So
where
plenty of times where I'm just like, you know what? I don't like forcing anything, and creativity you can't force it.
You can't.
Yeah.
When you're in that pocket, there's been times that I'll knock out 3 songs in one night because I'm just in that zone.
Yeah.
And sometimes I'm not feeling it, and I'm just like, you know what? Let me go up here and spend some time with the family.
Sometimes, yeah. And that's how
then it makes you feel like, okay, now I'm feeling something. Okay.
Yeah.
And I got incredible features on this album, but I'm also on their time. Like I funded this whole project.
Yeah.
So I don't I'm not signed to no label. I don't have no silent partner. So I funded this.
He did all these major features by his fucking self. I'm sorry.
So I funded this whole project, and so I'm on their time. So
when they
like with Sarah Johnson, who's in Seattle, and I found her on YouTube. She saw that I had a record with Twista, so she knew I was serious. And having that record with Twista made people say, "Okay, I got to take this guy serious. I'm gonna email him back."
Yeah.
And I designed that because I knew that would happen.
Yeah.
I knew working with an A-tier artist would open the door for B and C artists that wouldn't break the bank, but were ultimately unbelievably talented. And so, but Sarah Johnson, she's doing her own thing. So sometimes, like with the Prestige, that first record, that took like 6 weeks to put that together because I had to wait on her time, and then we would go back on revisions of how I would want to do it.
Up? Can you do this for me different? Blah,
but
blah,
she
blah.
knew then it was like, oh, okay, she sees who you really are. So she was like, oh, okay. So he worked with Twister. Now I can see myself. Yeah. Because if it was just you sending it, you don't really see yourself like waiting in line for that, or.
Well, no, I mean, I have a whiteboard of people that I wanted to work with, and for the most part, I've been able to work with them. Like the next record, Lollygag, John Bellinger is actually from London.
Yeah.
And so I never met Sarah Johnson in person or John Bellinger.
And I think you sent us this one so we can play it before.
Like Lollygag.
And this was crazy.
I was lollygagging a lot.
That's my favorite word. You know,
wait, he's from London, like actual?
Yeah, no, he's not from the States.
He's from London.
He's from London. Yeah.
So you just like wrote him and was like, "Hey, I want you to get on."
Yeah, I said, "Man, I like you. I'm a fan of your music. Can we work? I'll we transfer you the session?" And we did that thing, man. And shout out to him. He knocked that out.
That's dope when you can do that.
Okay, before we get into this next song, what inspired you to use your childhood home on your album cover?
I felt like,
let me see the album cover.
I'm from Iowa, and I felt like the first 16 years of my life, I lived in that house. I lived on that block. Mm-hmm. So I wanted to be authentic. That's my strength, is I'm being real and being authentic and being vulnerable. And so I wanted people to kind of, like Mush said, you listen to this album, you could be in Japan, you listen to this album, you're going to feel like you know me.
It gives you a sense of no.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? It gives you
like
a sense of
you feel like you can connect with me.
It's like, I know this dude already and I ain't never even
I know,
because
when the music was playing, I was like,
so when
do we
you
know
walked
it?
in, you like, what's up, bro? When you walked in, I shook your hand. It was like
we've been knowing each other
for 3-4 years.
Absolutely.
Because of just listening to this project.
I
and that's awesome.
That.
But it's coming in and bringing posters and packaging it up like this gave it a sense of nostalgia.
Because you don't see that anymore. You don't. People just come in and they'll be like, oh, here's that my song, that's my song, that's my song. But you don't see that.
Yeah.
This is a sense of urgency and artistry.
But it's like a good sense of like back in the day when it's like people usually
nostalgia. That's what I said when he gave it to me. I was
there you go.
I got an autograph. I got
an
W drop pick.
Yes, sir.
You want to still see like the actual shit.
We got the first. Do we got the first 2 autographs, or did you sign it for somebody else?
I've signed it for several people, but I had to bring it to you.
Hey, but in Chicago, we got the first 2 signed copies.
Yes, sir.
When this motherfucker go triple platinum, we got it.
Speaking into existence,
it's coming. It's coming.
That's like what makes it feel more like real and like dope.
And that's what I love about you. And you're such a genuine person. And I can tell that off the first meet off a person.
Oh, yeah.
Like, my spirit is so, I'm vibrating
connected,
so high to the point when I meet somebody, I'm like, oh, I know how to. Yeah. You're different. I can tell you're
appreciate
different.
that. I appreciate you guys allowing me to be on your platform and letting your audience get to know me. So thank you guys for that.
No, thank you for even wanting to come on.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? Thank you. Hey, W Draft Pick, we're going to get into the next song, man. Because I'm excited.
Bellinger for blessing me on that record.
He smoked that hook for you.
He absolutely killed it, man.
He smoked that for you. Hey, Zach, can you hear us?
Yes, sir.
You got any questions? You got any questions for Draft Pick? I know he's one of your favorites.
I do. I do have a question for him. So I just want to ask, who was some of your biggest influences when you started rapping?
We kind of touched upon that. LL Cool J was definitely the godfather of the blueprint of that feel good music sound. And I'm not just saying this because he's on my album, but Twista is my favorite artist of all time.
He was mine too.
And so he definitely had a huge influence. Do or Die had a huge influence. Ja Rule, 50 Cent. That early 2000s, late 90s, I felt like that was the golden era of hip hop, and I always go back to that. It's a nostalgia thing, but that was the influence.
Okay, look, so your music seems to blend like with personal life and certain things that you've been through in life. Like what influenced you to write certain songs? Like, is it all 100% real?
Absolutely.
Or really?
Absolutely. Lollygag is the prime example for Lollygag is me lollygagging of getting this album. I say on the record, like, I could have had 5 albums done. You know, and it wasn't so much lollygagging in the sense of I didn't want to get it done. It was the lollygagging in the sense of
like procrastination.
I gotta pay the mortgage before I can pay for the mix.
Right.
I gotta pay. Yeah. I gotta, the car needs to get fixed before I go pay for a feature.
That makes sense.
And so that's where it comes into it. But I try to have some humor into that record of because I didn't want it to be too heavy, but I also wanted it to be catchy, a vibe to it.
So wait, I got a good question. What's the biggest lessons you learned from pursuing music while raising a family and working full time?
And that ties right into that same thing he was just saying.
Yeah, it is just trying to stay motivated.
So what had to get paid first, and then you were like, okay, now I can go work on my album.
It's money. There was a time where I was like 265 pounds, and I dropped about 50 pounds.
Shut up.
And that was me going to the gym. And the prestige isn't just about the title. It's literally a lifestyle.
Next song.
Real quick on the next song, it's featuring Jason Benjamin, and he's out of Orlando, Florida, but it also has a special appearance of my daughter, London. She's on this record.
Wait, can I ask what all are their names?
Fix your mic. Sorry.
My oldest, his name is Wanye. It goes Wanye. My daughter is Raven.
Like the Boyz II Men singer?
Yes. Boyz II Men was my favorite. Yeah, Boyz II.
That's crazy.
That's where I got the name from, because Wanye was my favorite singer back in the day. So it goes Wanye. It goes my daughter Raven. It goes my son Elijah, my daughter Latasia, my son Hayden, my son Jordan, my son Jaden, my son Jackson, and my daughter London.
You got a lot of J's because your name is Jason.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I see the trend.
That's dope as hell. That is super dope.
I'm from Davenport, Iowa, but I live in a place called the Quad Cities.
Yeah, that's like popping.
Yeah, which has like 5 cities. So you got Davenport, Bettendorf, Moline, Rock Island, and East Moline.
It's like Chicago.
Yeah,
so it's like where you go to, and that's where it's jumping at.
Yeah. So there's different pockets within there, because I'm on the borderline of Illinois. Right. Like literally, I can get to Illinois in
That's why
2
you got
minutes.
here so fast, because it took us 6 hours to dive into Iowa. I was like,
so you kind of know, like, it's not like the fucking boondocks where you're not like nowhere near anything. Like Iowa, what's that? Like
he's in the inner city.
Yeah, I live in the inner city.
I went to a boarding school in Keokuk, Iowa, and let me tell you, there was not shit out there.
I got family in Keokuk. Shout out to Keokuk, Iowa, and that's small. I live in a bigger. That's a town. That's a town. I live in a city.
Is that like the country almost?
Fuck yeah.
No, that's the boondocks.
That was where I went to boarding school. It had shit out there.
My cousin who made this moonshine is from Keokuk, so that's all you need to know right there.
No, I'm just kidding. I went to boarding school in Keokuk, and I remember seeing it. There's nothing fucking out there, and I'm like, what the fuck? That's why they have a boarding school out there.
Malls or nothing.
Fuck no.
A lot of people perception of Iowa, like Des Moines, is like that's the big city, but Des Moines they got some hood in Des Moines.
Oh yeah.
You walk into Des Moines like this is Des Moines, Iowa. Someone gonna knock you on your ass.
Yeah.
Like they got some real people out there. Des Moines, it gets popping. But
y'all ain't too far from us.
I love
kind of like Chicago.
I love Iowa, and like you said, Iowa has that. You got that blend of city and that country and that good.
It's like a good mix.
Yeah,
and a respect factor. Like every city that I have been to in the Midwest has had this. Even if I went to St. Louis, Michigan, wherever, like Indiana, even when we was in Indiana, it's like this embracing. Like, oh, where you from? You from Chicago? Oh, you one of us?
Yeah.
Oh, you from Milwaukee?
Because
you one
it's
of us?
Midwest. Like they all feel
because
you
we
from
all
the
stick
same
together.
Way. Yes.
Look.
Even the skirts of Kentucky be like, I'm Midwest still too. Even
Absolutely.
though they kind of south, but they still like the beginning of it after you come out of fucking what is that? After we come out of
Ohio?
After you come out of Ohio, and then it's like that's still kind of like Midwest.
Like you guys feel like Iowa is like kind of connected to Chicago, right?
For sure,
absolutely.
And everybody like, oh, that's right up there in Chicago. I know where that's at.
Yeah, I'm from Iowa, and I would have to be like, 3 hours from Chicago.
But that's still Chicago.
Yeah.
To everybody out of state.
But that's people in Indiana. How people live in Indiana. People live in Indiana because it's cheaper.
When I lived
but they still consider them as part of Chicago.
Absolutely. When I lived in Las Vegas, people was like, yo, Iowa, y'all make potatoes? And I'm like, no, that's Idaho. we do corn. But Las Vegas. But Las Vegas, man, I needed that in my part of my journey, of my story, because it helped me with the diversity. I went from little old Davenport, Iowa to Las Vegas, Nevada, where it's a melting pot and it's 24/7, and
all
it's like
day.
That's the normal way of life.
That's what I got tired of. It was 24/7.
But don't get me wrong, I like Vegas and like the lifestyle. I do like that, like the dry desert. I do like that.
It's nice. It's nice. The heat and everything like
Yes.
that. But it felt draining to my spirit. My spirit felt drained after 2 years. It was like, I gotta go. I need to go replenish my soul.
Yeah,
I felt like
I
was being sucked in by something.
I tell people all the time, Las Vegas is not the Strip. Las Vegas is past the Strip.
Past the Strip,
It's
right?
past the Strip.
When you're living on it,
it's 20 miles out.
Like it's
Absolutely.
cool living
You know what
on
I'm
the
saying?
Strip. It's cool going to hotels and
Because half
clubbing.
of my family is still out there. The cost of living is great and everything like that.
Yeah, the cost of living
It's
is
just
very good.
the way of life just feels.
And it also helped me working at Tobin Dodge. Like Chop would have all these celebrities come. Like I can't tell you how many times I met Mike Tyson. I've been to Tyson's house at a party before.
Right.
Floyd Mayweather. I wasn't
Because
starstruck.
you're right there with him.
I wasn't starstruck because at a young age I was running into these people were in the Tobin Dodge every day.
You're right.
The rappers, Master P, and they're just
That
regular
was a normal
people.
thing to you.
It
to
was
the
a
point to where
normal
it was
thing.
like-
It was normal, but not living in growing up in Iowa. If I had never I would have been like, oh my god,
oh my god, can I get you autograph?
That's Mike Tyson.
Yeah.
You
But
see Tyson for
living
50 times, you're like, man, what up, T?
So you knew what your life
You give
was
them
when you were in
nicknames and shit.
Vegas, and then when you came to Iowa, you're like, I already been lived that.
You
I'm
give them
good.
nicknames and shit.
Absolutely.
I heard Eminem. I say, oh fuck that. I'm for the
We watched
rap.
this documentary and it made us think like, damn.
Like
You watched this documentary?
Eminem.
And listen, Eminem is a big influence as well.
What
And
documentary is
I
it
think
on?
I'm so influenced by you so much because you remind me of
yourself.
Iowa. You remind me of a Chicago Eminem.
Man, that's a compliment.
No disrespect.
No, that's a compliment.
Like you remind me of a Chicago. Like I
How
get
you looked
inspiration
up to
from
them.
you, bro.
Yeah.
I appreciate
I
that,
don't get
bro.
inspiration from a lot of artists.
I appreciate
I'm usually
that.
the person giving out inspiration, and but once I heard your music, and then you send me your pictures, and
And
I
how you
went on your
talk about
page.
it
I'm
and
like,
you're passionate about it.
bruh,
Yeah.
it makes sense.
It does, and that's what's crazy. And I just real quick before you play the record, one thing about Eminem, and then I want to follow up. The one thing that always caught me about Eminem is he said in an interview in 1996 he couldn't give his album away for free. People and listen, he didn't give up. Right, he believed in himself, and then he became the #1 selling rap artist.
Look who he is.
And so, but there was a time where the #1 rap selling artist of all time couldn't give his CD to someone without them handing it back to them. And then the second part that I want to make on that is you're absolutely right, man. Just being inspired, right, of just believing in yourself and just going for it. So the record mashup is about people overlooking you, but fuck them. Just do you at the end of the day.
for real.
Come on.
Because who's coming with it? You.
Just
At
keep
the end of the
pushing
day.
forward.
Absolutely.
I love it, bro.
I'm in the background.
Let's go to mashup
Eminem, the greatest rapper alive.
of all time, bro.
What y'all thought,
Of all time. And look,
I'm listening in the car.
and don't kill me and don't shoot me. But I feel like this is the next one.
Come on.
Yeah.
Hey,
I'm
man.
sorry. Let's listen to
Appreciate
mashup,
it.
man. Let's up north. Oh, they from Chicago, but up north.
Oh yeah, the North.
The pole. My fault. We from out west. We don't know
Chicago
about.
is just
We
like.
don't know what the pole is. We know out south and out west.
Ain't white folks from the pole?
Yeah, from the pole. No, it's a bunch of black people from the pole too.
ECL. That's what I was talking about. Yeah.
And what's his name that passed away?
Payroll.
Young Pappy. Payroll. You know Payroll?
Yeah, Payroll dope.
You knew Payroll?
I wasn't able to work with him, but Payroll
Payroll
was dope.
was every song that I did outside of him working with Kanye, I did.
Hey,
Payroll was my brother.
That never changes his record. I don't care what nobody say. He killed that.
This is Pay Every Day.
Yeah.
Jay took it and say, I never changed. This is Jay Every Day. I was there. I was
Yeah.
there when he broke Kanye's face and Kanye said he got in a car accident.
Yeah.
No, he didn't. We was in E2
That's
before,
how you get connected
before everybody got smushed and died in E2.
Yeah.
Payroll broke Kanye's face
Yeah, I heard that story.
through the wire.
I heard that story.
Payroll
yeah,
did that in real life. I was there, bro.
Yeah, no,
I
Payroll.
was literally there.
Payroll told me that story.
I
you
swear
know?
to God,
Yeah.
on my
just
on my
explained
How did you meet
on my
Payroll?
dead, look.
Yeah.
On
Now
my-
I wanna know.
On my dead mother, on my dead father,
How'd
on
you
my
meet
children. I watched him break Kanye's face.
Yeah.
I watched him beat that man up.
I never actually met
he
him
got in the
face to
car.
face, but on the phone,
And he was in
on
a
the
Lexus.
conversation.
He was so beat up and so swollen. He got in his Lexus and did hit a pole. But he ain't do that he wasn't fucked up from the accident. Payroll beat that man the fuck up. I was right there. Ask Cap one. Cap was there. On my mama grave, on my kids, on GDN.
40 gang.
I swear to God, 40 gang, nigga.
Come on. Hey, I know my Chicago history. 40 gang. Come on, man.
Come on.
That's why you guys connected.
40 gang, bro. That was my brother. Payroll lived with me. I tried to help him get off drugs and everything. Yeah. You know how he died?
Drugs.
Overdose.
Yeah. Damn. Rest in peace to Payroll, man. He was definitely a
my brother was Shauna. Shauna used to be over there with us, and Payroll used to be signing Legion Records with Do or Die.
Yep. Rick Jill, Cap One, Turtle Banks, yeah.
All of us. This is when we really got close. He had fucking $1 million, and he wanted to come live with me on Western and Armitage on my mama grave. He lived with me, and he had $1 million. He was rich. I swear to God, bro. All we did was go to the strip club every day.
Damn.
Drink every day, smoke every day.
You know what sucks about that whole Legion Records thing?
Man.
Is they never put out those albums. When I reached out to Rick Jill and he worked on my album, I said, Rick, can you do me a favor? Can you
give me a copy?
Can you send me Ridiculous? And he said, Draft.
I don't even know where it is.
No. He said, Draft. I'll send it to you right now. And I had it. I asked Cap One 1,000,000 times for Swagger Music. He's like, my father has all them old records. I ain't got them. When I talked to Reese, I said, Reese, you got a song with Cap called Come Running. I never heard the full version of it. Can you send it to me? He never got it to me. And Turtle Banks, he did the vault. And I would talk to Turtle Banks, and I'm like, Turtle, can I have that album? He's like, bro, it wasn't all the way done. But shout out to all them guys, man. And Legion Records should have been huge. Because they had it going.
Cash Money Records.
Absolutely, I agree with you.
Because Legion Records made me very, very wealthy. Very wealthy. From Payroll to Do or Die to Cap One to all of these artists that went on and been. But it's always a downfall.
Yeah.
They'll never had those songs like
B-Lo probably released. He probably released the Truth. No, he released his album. Me and Ben is on there, and we produced half of that.
Oh, but they never
released two videos. After that, Legion.
And it sucks because I was looking forward to that, and I no one is gonna. I'll die on this hill. But I think if Cap One Swagger Music would have dropped, Cap One would have took over. He would have took over.
He wouldn't have been writing for 2 Chainz because you know he writes for 2 Chainz.
I know.
Sorry, Cap. If you only, I'm sorry.
Also, you guys are in the same field.
Yes, he knows everybody.
Same age,
everybody that's on here is like.
I know. That's why I was like, you
that's
don't
why
know
I was
him?
so intrigued. I was
how
do I not?
Wait, how did you guys meet each other? Through Facebook?
Through the podcast.
Him being live, me singing a song.
Literally.
Shut the fuck up.
Full circle.
So did you know he worked with Twisted?
Absolutely. I told him earlier.
He said
Front and Center was when I
was introduced to you through Front and Center. And I told him, I said, do you know I wrote everything from that point on?
Yeah.
And Twisted don't give a fuck about me saying that, but I just feel a certain type of way of. Even Cardi B don't give a fuck about. Oh yes, Party wrote this from you, blah, blah, blah. But I just feel a certain type of way because as rappers, you supposed to hold this thing of I'm an MC.
Yeah,
I wrote this.
It's so crazy because we listened to
that's my idol, and he said, "Come do this for me."
Who else? Timbo. We watched Timbo. Do you guys watch Timberland live?
Yeah.
That does the music.
Yep.
We watch him a lot.
We watch him a lot,
that gets
and I produce beats for him. It's the thing. I know you heard of the thing called the Beat Club.
But I think that's so raw that he makes
that
production.
But that's what I'm trying to create here.
Now,
I'm trying to create a Timbo thing for artists.
Yeah.
So if somebody don't know about him, they hear his music, they get. Let's network.
Because I think it's so cool, how he just be able to you send your music and we just listen to it live.
This was literally organic. This right here.
This is real.
Like I met Mush an hour ago in person.
And I met you an hour ago in person.
That you met.
Absolutely.
Hold on, am I the same person?
You're the same. You guys are the same.
But it's so cool, when you meet somebody and it's like, you know how you be the fake shit, they're like.
But I go back to what did I say, Zach? It's spirit.
It's spirit.
Absolutely.
Spirit don't lie.
It seemed like we met you multiple times prior.
1,000. I swear to God, I feel like that. Because I listen to your music. We was bumping your music on the way to my cousin's funeral.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's right.
But I was bumping your music the day you sent it to me, and I was just listening to it so I can study you You exactly.
But you sound like somebody
what
we
you say in
knew.
your music.
That's
Like,
all I got.
Authentic.
I'm authentic. That's what you see is what you get.
That's real. You ain't fumbling over your words. This ain't.
Like we're at the page where like you need to bring your wife here, come hang out with us, like for real.
That's what I thought you was gonna do.
Yeah, seriously.
Next time, whenever you want to, bro, you always welcome there.
Absolutely. And vice versa. Y'all want to come down, man? Listen, grill out.
Don't tell us that because we travel.
We travel.
We get in that black car and hit the road.
Yes, sir. We're speaking into existence.
For real.
Like it's always good to meet like a person that like is really like connected to you and like you could be able to talk with. Like Chicago people are in a general, like you'd be like when you connect with somebody in Chicago, but you're from Iowa, it's the same shit though.
It feels
people
like you're from the same city.
Same city.
And anytime
exactly. When we used to go to Iowa, disconnected if you weren't.
When we used to go to Iowa, it never felt like we even left the city, did it?
Man, it felt like we just like a ride.
It felt like we went to the gas station,
right?
And then we went to go do a show at Adriana's or something like that. That's how it feels. Even when we went to Michigan and everything like that's what I'm saying about Midwest people. Midwest people.
Shout out to the Midwest.
Midwest.
It doesn't matter where you're from. I feel like at the end of the day, if you can connect with somebody, you can. Or like just out of us.
And especially if you can connect with them off of true talent. This man has true talent. Y'all for still real. Tuned in for a reason because this man has true talent, bro. Like for real.
Appreciate that.
And